Hi, Sandy.
Thanks for wanting to find out more about yourself through the personalized full-length astrology movie that's made just for you. This valuable, in-depth analysis will give you a greater understanding of you, well beyond your zodiac sign. But as a reminder, or even just a refresher, here's a recap about your sign before we move on to your other significant planetary influences. You were born on the cusp of Virgo and Libra, so chances are you're meticulous and practical, as well as diplomatic. Efficient, organized, and diligent, you always have a plan, and it's usually a well-executed one too. You're very respectful and courteous, and you work hard to keep the peace. Discord makes you feel physically ill. You do suffer from worry and nervous tension, but creative hobbies are a good way to alleviate this. You love beauty, color, and style, so activities like dressmaking, painting, and ceramics can be an excellent source of stress relief. You're an excellent listener, and you value balance and harmony in all things. This includes your health, and you thrive with a wholesome diet, plenty of outdoor time, and lots of alternative therapy options. Sound familiar? Well, the exciting news is that we are going to take a thorough look now at the influence of all the planets and how they're affecting you beyond your sun sign. Astrology is a very complex set of mathematical calculations that applies timeless wisdom from ancient Greek and Roman mythology. Be prepared for revealing insights about your destiny and how you can move more easily and effortlessly towards your ambitions and aspirations to ultimately lead to a richer and more fulfilled life. You will also gain a much greater understanding about how to attract an abundance of love, luck, and good fortune by reaping the benefits of Venus and Jupiter. Perhaps you've had more than your fair share of hard knocks and challenges throughout your life, and you want to dig into what's really holding you back from reaching your goals. The position of Saturn can shed some light, but you're going to discover so much more. So sit back and enjoy this movie that's all about you. In astrology, we have a close relationship with the planets. Far from being distant balls of ice, rock, or gas, the astrological planets have an influence which is up close and personal, and which pervades every aspect of our lives. The planets used in astrology are the very same planets you probably learned about in school: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which, according to astrologers, is still considered a planet. To that list, we add the Sun and the Moon. The Sun and the Moon are technically not planets. The Sun is a star, and the Moon is a satellite to our Earth. But for the ease of reference, astrologers call them planets. Each and every planet is said to embody a particular energy. This energy is expressed or channeled in a particular way via the zodiac sign where the planet was on the day you were born. We know you were born on the cusp of Virgo and Libra. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, while Libra is ruled by Venus. Mercury is about analysis and intelligence, but Venus is about love and kindness. Through this connection, you can sometimes overthink your desire to help others, but your greatest strengths are your honorable intentions and your eye for detail. Mercury is the messenger planet, the communicator. Mercury's energy is highly intellectual, so this planet governs thought processes, how logical, how analytical, and how imaginative you are. Mercury also influences communication style, and its energy is fast-moving and quick-thinking. It also suggests how you are typically someone who can get your message across more easily than most others. Venus is the planet of love and affection, and its energy is concerned with personal relationships, love, but also friendship and family ties. This planet also rules social graces, tact, diplomacy, and charm. Venus energy also relates to our values and to what we want to acquire and hold on to. For this reason, Venus is also strongly connected to money and finance. Your destiny path in this lifetime makes best use of your past life experiences and your current gifts, skills, and talents, combining all of these to lead you towards your soul's highest potential. It's the secrets of the North Node which reveal the direction of your destiny, but there will always be challenges along the way. Your soul is here to learn, so don't expect an easy ride from your destiny path, but do expect to become a more enlightened and integrated soul through your destiny's tasks, trials, and tribulations. It would be so easy to just carry on doing what you've always been doing, but embracing the lessons of the North Node will transform your life into a richer, deeper, and more meaningful experience. Your North Node is in Leo, which means your destiny will be found by living completely from the heart. Activate your generosity so you can maintain a positive and heart-centered experience. You are learning to live your life in a loving appreciation of creativity. Finding ways in which to express yourself is highly important. Being open and honest with yourself is a fine way to move away from selfish egotism and into a genuinely warm way of relating to others. You are meant to be an example to others. The ability to inspire and lead other people is one of the talents that you will be asked to use at some point. Whether or not you are living from the heart will determine how successful you are at this. There are many ways in which you will be given the opportunity to demonstrate your positive nature. All of them test your ability to be yourself under any circumstances. Understanding the nature of your individuality in the face of the collective is very important. You must be prepared to not be liked in order to distinguish yourself from others. Your group and community activities will provide you with many challenges in which you are asked to stand out in some way. Learn to love others no matter what their attitude toward you. This is a difficult task. Maintaining a childlike freshness and spontaneity towards life is the best way to make your heart your primary tool of awareness. They say love makes the world go around, and finding that special someone to have and to hold is hugely important for most of us. In astrology, we look at the planet Venus for insights into your romantic nature. Love comes in so many different styles, but your Venus tells how you relate to your partner and what your strengths and weaknesses are in a relationship. Your Venus sign is also about your personal values, your guilty pleasures, and your finances. Whether it's romance or money, it's Venus which powers your desire to live the life you love. But there's much more to Venus than just love and money. Venus energy is also concerned with friendship and family ties. This planet also rules social graces, tact, diplomacy, and charm, and is connected with the artistic and fashion industries. Venus energy is not only about our values, but beyond that, it's about what we want to acquire and hold on to. Through this planet, we discover what makes us happy and what our tastes are. Sensual pleasures in all their forms, from touch to food, are a Venus preoccupation. But Venus can easily crave too much of a good thing. Venus also represents balance, peace, and harmony. Venus is an important planet because it tells us a great deal about how you relate to other people and about what pleasures you seek in life. In astrology, many planets were named for gods and goddesses. Venus is the Roman equivalent of the Greek goddess of love, Aphrodite. Venus was the goddess of love, sex, and fertility. She was also the goddess of prosperity, which is where the astrological connection to wealth and money comes from. Your Venus is in Virgo, which means the kinds of things you look for in a romantic partner are different than the things that most people want. Appearance, other than neatness, and income might be the last factors on your list. Instead, you want someone who is kind and humble, who appreciates all the ways you take care of them. It really doesn't take that much to make you happy. Your needs in a relationship are simple. Your ideals are very high, and you may not be willing to settle for less than what you want. Still, you are self-effacing and very humble, and may not have the self-confidence to go after the object of your heart's desire. You can feel so unsure in love that sometimes you might be tempted to join up with someone who doesn't truly deserve you, figuring that imperfect love is better than no love at all. And who can blame you for such a choice? Once you've committed yourself to someone, you are a paragon of devotion and dedication, often sacrificing your time and energy for the success of the partnership. The flip side of this is that you can be quite sensitive and have your feelings easily hurt. Keep your confidence up. You have so much to offer. You'd be a lucky catch for anyone. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What lights your fire? Mars, the passion planet, holds the answer to this and much more. Mars is important in your love life, along with Venus, but your Mars sign is about much more than just physical passion. Mars rules anger too, showing us what pushes your buttons and where your pressure points lie. However, Mars also reveals your greatest strengths and your leadership abilities. This very special planet is the key to success and achievement, powering your ambitions, driving your focus, and inspiring you to strive. Mars as a planet has always inspired wonder here on Earth. From speculation about Martians and the canals on Mars, to our modern-day ambitions to visit the Red Planet. Mars could be considered a masculine counterpart to feminine Venus, but there is so much more to it. Mars is named for the ancient Roman god Mars, the equivalent of the Greek god Ares, god of war. The mythological Mars was a warrior who had a passionate, illicit affair with Venus, the goddess of love. He embodies all things masculine. It's no accident that the astrological glyph for Mars is the same as the commonly understood symbol for a male, a small circle with an arrow extending upwards in a northeast direction, traditionally thought to represent a shield and a spear. Mars is hugely energetic, forthright, ambitious, and active. This is potent energy, decisive and determined to win at all costs. Mars represents the competitive urge and the need to take action. This is not a planet content to bide its time. Mars drives us to be first and to be best. It is powerful energy and can be overpowering if not channeled constructively. Mars relates to our basic drives. What motivates us is ruled by Mars. At its best, this planet is motivational and hungry for success. At its worst, Mars brings ruthlessness, selfishness, domination, and anger. Essentially, Mars is crucial in telling us what makes you tick as an individual. It's an all-or-nothing planet, but for each of us, the line we cross when pushed occurs at a slightly different place. We look to Mars to see what in your life you will fight for, and how determined you will be to win that ultimate battle. Your Mars is in Gemini, which means, like a young colt, you're rather high-strung and have a lot of nervous energy. You may have real trouble sitting still for long periods of time, which could lead to problems in school because you seem restless and bored, and maybe you are. A variety of regular exercise is very important for you as an outlet for all your physical energy. It also keeps your balance and coordination in top form. Sports that require some degree of dexterity are good. Mentally, you may have trouble maintaining focus on anything for very long. You may speak at a fast pace, or you could dominate the conversation, grabbing the microphone without letting someone else have a chance to talk. You're great at going out to get information, but not so good at processing it or making up your mind. You are quite flexible in many ways and can easily adapt your plans to other people's agendas. You are sociable and enjoy developing friendships and going to places where you can meet a variety of new people. Since you are very friendly, you can usually make connections without too much trouble at all. You're playful and naturally good at sports, so you're a popular choice to have around. The planet Mercury rules your mind, your thinking style, and your intellect. How you think influences everything from the kind of decisions you make to how creative you are and how you react to change. Mercury is known as the messenger planet because this zippy little planet rules communication too. Of course, how you communicate plays a big part in how you come across to others. What you say and how you say it truly matters in so many life situations, from work to love. So let's get started on what your Mercury sign has to say about you. Your Mercury is in Libra, so you are very fair-minded and always strive to see both sides of any story. With your strong sense of justice and your ability to grasp and explain contradictory positions, you can make an excellent liaison or negotiator. You have an amazing capacity to bring people together. You can find the few small points upon which they agree, and from this, you can build consensus and contracts. Your writing and communication style may be rather flowery, more inclined to descriptions than substance. With an attractive voice and a flair for pretty speech, you are often the toastmaster at parties and may frequently be invited to speak to groups of people. When it comes to declaring yourself on a specific side of any issue or problem, however, there could be trouble. You understand each faction's position and grasp the nuances of the debate. You can't, however, seem to stay on one side of the fence. Instead, you become a fence sitter, or worse yet, a chronic mind changer, despite a well-developed sense of right and wrong. At least you can say that in the moment you were sincere. You truly can't help but to change your mind frequently. It's just the way you're wired. Jupiter is everyone's favorite planet because traditionally this planet brings luck and abundance in its wake. Jupiter shows us where in your chart there is an abundance of blessings, even if you often overlook how fortunate you truly are. Your Jupiter sign highlights things which make you smile, things which bring you joy, and things which bring you hope. Sometimes we can have too much of a good thing, though, and your Jupiter sign also hints at where in life you may take things too far, overindulging or overstretching yourself. Find the right Jupiter balance, and happiness will follow. Each of us makes our own luck in our lives, but it's true that luck and good fortune do seem to come easier to some people than to others. Although Jupiter doesn't create luck in itself or cause winning lottery tickets to rain down upon us from the skies, this jovial giant of a planet does have energies which help us to make the very most of every opportunity which comes our way. For this reason, Jupiter is considered to be the most fortunate planet of all, provided you know how to use the gifts it brings. Jupiter's energies are all about expansion. Through Jupiter, we grow. The way Jupiter functions reveals how you go about finding opportunities in life, and how you handle the circumstances which face you. Jupiter also rules other expansion-themed topics, such as wisdom and learning, travel, and hope. These are very intellectual and philosophical energies, which are fundamentally optimistic and positive. With Jupiter in Leo, you're at your best when you're acting confident and strong, even if you don't particularly feel that way. It's like Henry James's as-if theory. Act confident and strong, and soon you'll feel that way too. You can take this concept to the max. Since you don't mind having lots of eyes on you, a career in fields such as education, politics, or entertainment, or any job that keeps you in the public eye is a natural for you. All the attention keeps you confident. Or is it the confidence that garners you all the attention? Who knows? The fact of the matter is that it works for you. You have a highly generous nature, sometimes to a fault, and are very giving of yourself. You'll devote many hours and much energy to your areas of interest and commitment. You have goodwill and are optimistic for a more positive future. Integrity is a hugely important principle for you, so you attempt always to act with the highest principles. Of all the planets in your birth chart, it's Saturn which holds the biggest key to your lifetime lessons. Known as the Lord of Karma, Saturn rules your duties and responsibilities, the things which keep you awake at night. By looking at your Saturn sign, you can find out what wisdom you came into this life with and what you have yet to learn. Your Saturn sign also reveals the extent to which you are your own worst enemy, perhaps undermining your own confidence or holding yourself back. Saturn is a tough taskmaster, and the lessons he teaches are never easy, but they are so worthwhile. Because of this, Saturn often gets a bad rap. Who wants to love a planet which channels every stern headmaster ever, stepping in to stop all the fun and reminding you that you still haven't lived up to your potential? It's true that Saturn energy can be difficult, but personal and spiritual growth comes through tackling Saturn's challenges and learning the lessons this planet is determined to enforce. It's important to remember that Saturn's somewhat dour reputation comes into its own just when we need it most, too. In a real crisis, the stability and focus of Saturn energy has a lot to offer. Saturn is all about obligations and limitations. This is sober, serious energy, and it comes with an authoritative voice. It suggests how you both express and react to authority. You can even think of Saturn as your inner parent. Saturn brings you self-control and resilience and a healthy respect for boundaries. Structure and conformity are also Saturn qualities, as is determination. Saturn energy is hard-working and disciplined and not given to flights of fancy. The Roman god Saturn was the equivalent of the Greek god Kronos. Kronos and Saturn are associated with time. This is where the connection of time and age gives rise to many of Saturn's qualities. Saturn's sign will also reveal the lessons you are likely to learn in this lifetime. Your Saturn sign is where you grow and mature. Saturn is known as the planet of karma because it teaches us that our actions have consequences always. Having Saturn in Gemini means you take a serious approach to communicating and delivering information. You speak slowly and clearly, making sure that others understand your point. You may be shy about speaking in public, although with practice, those butterflies in your stomach should decrease because you are perfectly articulate, despite your fears to the contrary. You value education. Digging deep is more your style than surface learning. You want to know your subject in extreme detail. Subjects such as mathematics, science, or classical languages may appeal to you. You learn best in some type of organized, systematic structure, one that is goal-oriented and that gives you a diploma or certificate when you've successfully accomplished it. You have a lot of mental discipline and prefer work that is cerebral and detail-oriented. Your reasoning is methodical, thorough, and generally bulletproof. You would make a fine teacher, if a strict one. If you're feeling rebellious or on edge, your Uranus is probably hard at work inciting your inner rebel into action. If you're coming up with amazing insights and genius ideas, that's also Uranus's influence. Uranus is exciting and magnetic, a bringer of change and a herald of things to come. However, this planetary influence can also signify emotional coldness, aloofness, and a desire to shock. At its best, Uranus helps us to create the future with flashes of originality and a true sense of the humanitarian bigger picture. At its worst, it reveals our isolation, perversion, and disruptive natures. Uranus is associated with independence, freedom, original thinking, and all things scientific and technological. Uranus highlights your quirks and your individuality, as well as suggesting how much you follow or don't follow rules and conventions. This is also the planet of rebellion. It tells us if you're a game changer or a future leader. However, the flip side of Uranus can be a certain aloofness or an unwillingness to get emotionally close to others. Uranus is also about shocks and upsets, and where you may either experience or unconsciously cause disruption, surprises, and sudden changes of heart. This is a generational influence that affects everyone born within a 7-year period near the day of your birth. All by itself, Uranus is probably not the most important feature of you, but it describes some general conditions that were activated during that period, and to a certain extent, you and those of your generation carry that energy forward with you as you mature and develop. With Uranus in Gemini, there are likely to be revolutions in the field of communications, schooling, and transportation. There will be technological breakthroughs in these areas, and for the most part, these innovations will vastly increase the speed with which we transfer information. On a personal level, Uranus in Gemini shows a quick mind and an unusual perspective. Intellectual freedom is important to you. Your interests are eclectic, to say the least. Most positively, you bring innovations and improvements to communications and networking. Neptune is one of the most mysterious planets, simultaneously driving our idealism, but also planting seeds of confusion and doubt. Neptune energy is notoriously nebulous and difficult to pin down. When you feel the effects of Neptune, it can bring about a fundamental change in your self-understanding and your spiritual growth. Normally, Neptune represents idealism. This planet's sensitive, intuitive, healing energy is compassionate and spiritual, but it can also manifest as illusions and confusion. Often, Neptune brings forth our greatest fears and anxieties, but it can also represent healing powers, an ethereal magic, psychic abilities, and the power of dreams. This highly spiritual planet is often associated with a spiritual quest, and we either turn inwards and find the divine spark within us, or seek gurus or teachers in the external world. Neptune is the second of the generational planets, spending 14 years in each sign. Everyone born within that period around the time of your birth will have Neptune in the same sign. By itself, Neptune's sign is not the most important factor. However, this placement symbolizes what was going on in the world at the time you were born, which has left an imprint on you. You and members of your generation are each imbued with this particular energy, and in some ways, it characterizes everyone born during this time. Each individual will express it in their own way, some more strongly than others. The Neptune and Libra generation idealizes relationships and yet is in a great deal of denial about them. You and your group have certain unrealistic expectations about the ideal partner, instilled largely by carefully crafted images on TV and in movies and magazines. Of course, hardly anyone in real life measures up to these ideals. So, relationships have been a difficult trade-off between keeping up the illusion or admitting disappointment and defeat in what was supposed to be a perfect relationship. Pluto used to be considered the most distant known planet in our solar system, although it was demoted in 2006 and is now astronomically classified as a dwarf planet rather than a full planet. Astronomy has no direct correlation with astrology, however, and astrologically speaking, the planet Pluto is still alive and well. The astrological Pluto speaks of power, rebirth, transformation, and evolution. Pluto energy can be very destructive, but only in the sense that something must be torn down before anything new can be built in its place. Through Pluto's energy and influence, we undergo metamorphosis, emerging from chaos and tumult as new, if not always better, people. Pluto shows us how you view power and how likely you are to manipulate those around you. This planet can tell us about your darkest obsessions and your hidden jealousies and resentments. It can also reveal your inner powers and your extraordinary ability to transform yourself and to evolve. Pluto brings radical change into all of our lives, which is often deep-rooted, lasting, and transformative. Pluto is also symbolic of secrecy and of things which must be uncovered. Pluto is the final generational planet. It spends so long in a sign, anywhere from 12 to 28 years, that it affects everyone born within that time period near your birth. All by itself, it is not the most important feature of you, since such a huge number of people share this placement. However, it does describe some general conditions that were activated at that period, and, to a certain extent, you and those of your generation carry that energy forward with you as you mature and develop. Pluto is all about power, and the Pluto sign of anyone in power shows how they will wield this important responsibility. Your generation, Pluto in Leo, now holds the reins of power in government. Often considered the me generation, you and your peers were the first folks who left home and family to find yourself. Now, moving into senior citizenhood, all that self-care is finally paying off in longer, healthier later years. I hope you have enjoyed your in-depth personalized astrology movie. Did you know that humankind has been studying astrology for thousands of years? Amazingly, early humans were tracking lunar cycles from animal bones marked with lines and patterns to record the phases of the moon. Throughout history, so many famous and respected people have found astrology to be an invaluable tool for self-understanding and decision-making. In fact, Carl Jung considered astrology to be a vast treasure house of psychological insights, and he wrote that astrology was a source of inspiration for the school of psychotherapy and psychoanalysis techniques which he pioneered. For example, in a letter to his then mentor, Sigmund Freud, Jung wrote, "I am looking into astrology, which seems indispensable for a proper understanding of mythology. There are strange and wondrous things in these lands of darkness." People turn to astrology to seek answers in matters that the scientific method is not equipped to address. Scientific analysis is not designed, nor is it intended to study non-quantifiable phenomena such as the personal meaning of one's own life. As the Dalai Lama has pointed out, what science finds to be non-existent, we must necessarily accept. But what science merely does not find is a completely different matter. It is quite clear that there are many, many mysterious things. Even some famous scientists, such as Isaac Newton and Johannes Kepler, were devoted students of astrology throughout their lives. Financial analysts and business leaders have long used astrology to understand the vagaries of market conditions and business cycles. J.P. Morgan was known to say, "Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do." Astrologers in earlier ages were traditionally quite fatalistic and oriented towards precise predictions. Over the course of the 20th century, however, a modernization of astrology resulted in a more positive, humanistic approach, in which difficult conditions are redefined as challenging opportunities. The stars impel, they do not compel, is a common expression used by astrologers to convey this non-fatalistic approach. Astrologers today emphasize the importance of free will in determining how we respond to the changing seasons and cycles of our lives. This helps many of us deal with difficult situations and challenging life events, knowing there are opportunities to move beyond the hand we are dealt with. I hope you have found this in-depth movie all about you to be truly insightful, meaningful, and inspirational. Wishing you all the very best as you continue on your life's path journey and ultimately to the road of enlightenment.